And they said, "What's the matter with you? Isn't the salary big enough?" And the young man very calmly responded, "The salary is big enough, but the job isn't." Many, many years ago, and believe me, it was many years ago, in my youth, I heard a true story that stayed with me for all of these years. And back then I was greatly impacted by its content. It referred to a young academician who went to some of the best universities here in the United States, receiving about 2 important degrees with high grades. So he had the world at his fingertips, so to speak. He had a brilliant career ahead of him. And yet his true calling was to become a Christian missionary in the Far East. So he went to that country, learned the language, and started his work. While many other people, heads of great corporations, were paying attention to his career, to the development of his life, and with eyes on the potential that he could be to them. So after being there for a while, one of their agents went to him and said, "We've been following your life for quite some time. We're impressed with your brilliance, the wonderful degrees that you had from very prestigious schools. And we would like to offer you such and such a salary," which really was an enormous sum compared to what he was receiving as a missionary. But to their surprise, he completely rejected their offer. And he said, "No, thank you so much. I'm going to continue doing what I came here to fulfill." Well, months passed, and the heads of that corporation once again felt that by now he might be tempted to accept their offer, which had been even increased. But to their sadness and even dissatisfaction, the young missionary said, "No thanks. I will continue doing that for which I came to this nation to do." Well, that was it. Or was it? Well, years later, not years later, but months later, the same man, or perhaps accompanied by others even more eloquent than they, came to him feeling that by now he might be ready to say goodbye to his previous profession and to accept the sum which had now been doubled. It was a phenomenal salary that was being offered to him. But to their disappointment, he once again rejected. And that came to irritate those representatives of the company. And they said, "What's the matter with you? Isn't the salary big enough?" And the young man very calmly responded, "The salary is big enough, but the job isn't." In other words, he was completely conscious of his calling from God to do that which had led him to that country in the Far East. And in spite of hardships that he had to face, in spite of a much lower salary that would never increase too much, if at all, he was doing that for which he had prepared himself and that to which he had given his whole life to fulfill. And so it is in life. We have to be fully persuaded of the things that we are doing now and realize that if there is where we want to make a contribution, let us diligently continue our tasks and do the best that we can, certain that God Himself has taken us there to do what we are doing and to bring honor and glory to Him while expanding the work of His glorious kingdom. Thank you, dear friends. Just think about that and look into your own life. May it be one of great fruitfulness, regardless of what you may currently be doing. Bye-bye.